Hi everyone, this is our daily top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis for July 15, 2019 in preparation for the next trading day on Tuesday, July 16th. My name is JC De Guzman. I'm going to show you my technical analysis followed by my insights regarding my trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts. And then we will also check if our 10 SMACD and Fantastic Force signals are present on these 10 stocks. I'd like to remind everyone that what I'm going to say here is all about short-term trading purposes, even though there are some index stocks in our list. Let's begin with BPI. BPI closed on Monday at 83.9. The immediate support is at 77.2. Resistance is at 85.7. The 10 SMACD is very present on BPI. The Fantastic Four signals, we will check. 3 of 4 are present. We will check the traded volume distribution chart if all 4 of them are present. But for the meantime, I can say that the upward momentum of VPI is very strong already. This stock maintains its low risk level. RSI is it still has more room going towards the northward direction, allowing BPI to test to have the conviction to test the immediate resistance. Foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 44 million pesos on Monday. It was 37 million pesos last Friday, which was a net foreign buying also. Let's check BPI's trade and volume distribution chart. By the looks of it, it completes the Fantastic Four signals. The dominant range with respect to the closing price of 83.9 is between 83.2 all the way to 83.9. But actually it's between as a whole it's between 82.25 to 83.9. But first, I suggest that you monitor the dominant range between 83.2 to 83.9. That's where you need to position if you would like to top up, if you would like to enter a new position. Should it start at a price lower than 83.2, you have to monitor it between 82.3 to 83.2. If and when it starts at a price lower or higher than 82.3 to 83.95, you have to request for BPI's latest trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts in our private clients forum. This is the true market sentiment chart of BPI. The statistics tell us that we got a neutral sentiment. 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, and they also registered a higher buying average than selling average. My overall sentiment for BPI is bullish, despite the neutral sentiment coming from our TMS chart. The TMS chart only tells us what the top 10 brokers or the top 10 players are thinking, or what they were thinking about BPI last Monday. Okay, so I'm still bullish. If you are planning to enter a new position, or if you would like to top up, you can go ahead within that dominant range, within those dominant ranges actually that I have shown you. For the new entrants, remember you have one extra process that you need to go through, and that's the calculation of your reward to risk ratio. Okay, do a test buy if you are satisfied with your reward to risk ratio. If you are a newbie, it's better if you have an RRR that's about 2.5:1. That should be your reward to risk ratio. 2.5:1, 2:1, but should not be 1:1. Okay, so that's it for BPI. The next stock that I'm going to discuss would be MBT. So for MBT, let me just pull up the TVD and TMS charts. Okay, let's check the chart of MBT now. MBT Metrobank closed at 77 pesos on Monday. Support is at 70.4. Resistance is at 84.6. The 10 SMACD is alive. 3 of the 4 Three of the fantastic four signals are present. VWAP is at 75.67. The upward momentum is not yet very strong, but the positive DMI is already increasing its distance away from the negative DMI. The historical volatility is still at a low risk level. RSI is still quite distant from the classical overbought level. Also, foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 160.6 million pesos on Monday. Let's check MBT's traded volume distribution chart. With respect to the closing price of 77 pesos per share, the dominant range is between 75.5 towards 77 pesos per share. If it starts at a price lower than 75.5, I suggest that you monitor it between 73 towards 73.6. If and when it starts at a price lower than 73 or higher than 77, request for the latest TVD and TMS charts in our private clients forum. The true market sentiment chart looks like this. Its statistics tell us that we got a bearish sentiment. Why? Because 4 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, and 4 of which also registered a higher buying average and selling average. With that bearish sentiment, why did MBT still ended? Why did it still end up with a green candlestick? Simply because those brokers that have a green net amount, collectively speaking, when you add all of their total turnover values, that would still be greater than the TTVs of the other ones, the 6 brokers that registered a negative net amount. So the positivity of the 4 brokers outpowered the negativity of their 6 brothers and sisters, so to speak. Okay, that's the explanation of it. So, meaning to say, some of the brokers treated the bullishness last Monday as an opportunity to sell. Okay, those are the weak hands. Those were the weak hands that were holding MBT. So here, my overall sentiment is still bullish on MBT. For my for in the short term, it maintains its a bullish rating. So if you would like to top up and enter a new position, you can go ahead with those dominant ranges that I have mentioned. Okay. So there you go for MBT. And if you're going to calculate your reward to risk ratio, you entrance, let me speak to you. If you're going to calculate your RRR, you're going to get a very good RRR because the last candlestick is still closer to the potential risk near support than the potential reward near the resistance. So go ahead and do a test buy if you're just about to enter a new position on MBT. Okay, so after MBT, we will talk about BDO. Let me pull up BDO's TVD and the TMS chart also. Here you go. BDO closed on Monday at 154 pesos per share. It continues its ascent above the support at 140.7, and it's moving towards the immediate resistance at 157.2. As soon as it breaks above 157.2, 166 will be acting as its immediate resistance. The 10 MACD is present. 3 of the fantastic 4 signals are present. VWAP is at 152 pesos. The upward momentum is about to place BDO in a very strong category. That's going to happen once the price touches the resistance at 157.2. The risk level of BDO is still very low. RSI, on the other hand, is about to touch the classical overbought level. So, for those of you who have had BDO for short-term trading purposes, keep an eye to the resistance at 157.2. If you are seeing a weakening upward momentum right here, If if the selling appetite increases once it touches 157, I suggest that you respect your. It's all the more that you should then respect your trailing stop loss. Now, for the new entrants, consider what I have just mentioned. The last candlestick of BDO is already closer to the resistance than your support level, meaning to say you're not going to get an attractive reward to risk ratio if you're going to calculate it now, unless you're going to use 166 as the value of the resistance level in the equation to calculate your reward to risk ratio. If you're not familiar what equation am I talking about, please revisit our quick start guide. Okay, foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 231 million pesos on Monday. BDO's trade and volume distribution shows that the dominant range is between 150 to 154. It's closer to the intraday high than the intraday low, therefore that completes the Fantastic Four signals. The true market sentiment chart of BDO is this. The statistics tell us that we got a confirmed bullish true market sentiment. 6 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount. 5 of them registered a higher buying average and selling average. My overall sentiment for BDO is bullish. For those who have had BDO for short-term trading purposes, you can go ahead and you can top up if you would like to. If you would like to hold it without topping up, it's also fine. Especially if you are eyeing to 157 as a selling position. Of course, once your trailing stop loss gets hit. You already know that here at Equilist Analytics, we don't abide by the classical rule of selling once a target selling price is it. No, we don't use a target selling price here. We don't use buy below price. We don't use fair value here. We just sell once our trailing stop loss gets hit. While there are some rules on when you can preempt your trailing stop loss, right now I don't see a reason for you to preempt your trailing stop loss too early. Continue riding onto this strong upward momentum of BDO. Now, for the new entrants, you have to calculate your reward to risk ratio first. So consider what I have just mentioned a while back. Okay? Don't recklessly buy the stock, top up, just because buy signals or bullish signals are all around. There's an extra process that you need to go through if you are just about to add the stock in your portfolio, and that's the calculation of your reward to risk ratio. Okay? Be systematic, be process oriented so you don't get more emotional than logical. Okay? So after BDO, we will talk about SM. Let me pull up the TVD and TMS charts of SM. So here, SM closed on Monday at 1,007 pesos per share. It's going towards its immediate resistance at 1,016. Support is at 879.5, but there's a midterm support at 922.5. Should it break above 1,016 pesos per share, 1,142 is waiting as its next resistance level. The 10 MACD combo is, let's double check this. It's not yet present, but there's a formation of a bullish convergence between MACD and the signal line. As soon as the price touches 1,016, my forecast is that MACD will have crossed the signal line already by then. The SM still has a low risk level. The upward momentum is not yet in a very strong category simply because SM went through a consolidation between 922.5 to 1,016 pesos for almost since January 2019. So this will take SM has to break some resistance levels for us to see the ADX touching the 25 points or higher level. Okay, RSI is still distant from the classical overbought level, so if this ascent will continue, I think RSI will only hit the classical overbought level once the price touches the next resistance at 1,142 or 1,140. Foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 223 million pesos on Monday. VWAP is at 944.67. Let's check the TVD chart of SM. So the dominant range is between 998 to 1007. That's closer to the intraday high than the intraday low, meaning to say the fantastic first signals are all present. The true market sentiment chart of SM tells us that we got a bearish sentiment. Why? 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, while 4 of them registered a higher buying average than selling average. So there was still an eavesdropping mode that happened on SM last on Monday. Okay, so there are some, I suppose those are the short-term traders who are eyeing 1016 as a selling area. But let's see if the upward momentum becomes is still strong, then SM might not bounce away once it touches 1016. It might continue its ascent beyond the 1016 resistance level. Let's see. We don't have to be right. We just have to adjust our trading plan based on what we are currently seeing in our analysis, in our data-driven analysis. Okay? So there you go. I am bullish on SM. If you have had SM, you can go ahead and top up. If you are yet to have it, make sure that you calculate your reward to risk ratio. Okay, it's up to you if you would like to use 1016 or 1142 as the value of the resistance level in your RRR formula. Okay, there you go for SM. Next, we are going to talk about JGS, another index company or index stock. So here, JGS closed on Monday at 70.8. It broke above its resistance at 69.6. The acting resistance is now 79.15, and 69.6 is acting as its immediate support. The 10 SMA and MACD combo is alive. It's active. MACD just crossed above the signal line on Monday. Foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 51 million pesos. And the upward momentum is about to become very strong. One more green candlestick, I think ADX will touch the 25-point level. The risk level of JGS is moderate already, moderate risk level. I stand corrected. It's still a low risk level. RSI is still quite distant from the classical overbought level, so if this bullishness will continue, it says that the RSI can still move towards the next resistance at 79.15. So let's take a look at the TVD chart with respect to its closing price of 70.80. I would say that the dominant range is between 69 towards 70.80. That's your dominant range. If it starts at a price lower than 69, I suggest that you watch 68 to 68.3. If it starts at a price lower than those two ranges or higher than those two ranges, as always, request for the latest TVD and TMS charts in our private clients forum. The true market sentiment chart tells us that we got a bearish sentiment. Why? 6 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, while 1 of the top 10 registered a higher buying average than selling average, meaning to say several short-term traders translated 69.6, that breakout above the resistance, as an opportunity to lock in some of their profits. What we don't know if they sold everything or did they? I think they did not sell everything yet. Otherwise, we would be seeing a tall green candlestick, red candlestick rather, if they sold everything. So maybe they just lock in some of their profits near 69.6 or 70.8, within that range. Okay, but for us who follow a trailing stop loss system, I suggest that you can still go ahead and add more shares within the dominant ranges that I have said. And if you're about to enter a new position, do it. go ahead, you have the go signal provided you are satisfied with your reward to risk ratio. Okay, make sure that you do an upward adjustment on your trailing stop loss every time the stock that you have is registering a higher price. Okay, higher than what? Higher than its previous price. Okay, regardless if it just moved up by 1 centavo or 1 peso, regardless. Okay, if it moved up, if it moves up, go ahead and do an upward adjustment. That's the rule. That's the rule in our trading stop loss system. We're done with the top 5 gainers. Let's talk about the top 5 losers. Green is the first loser in our list. Green closed on Monday at 2.38. It managed to uh, recover its position above the support at 2.25. It dropped below that level during in the first half of trading, but it managed to recover above the 2.25 level, making that as its still support level. Resistance is at 2.9. Foreign investors bought or registered a net foreign buying worth 8.15 million pesos on Monday. The 10 MACD combo is still absent, although the price, yeah, it's still absent. MACD is below the signal line. The last candlestick is below the 10-day simple moving average. How about the Fantastic Four signals? 3 of them are present. VWAP is at 2.28. Okay, let's see. Risk level is already moderate, on a moderate level, moderate risk level for green. RSI is still downward sloping, so it's still not out of the woods. Let's see. Let's see if green will continue to play sideways between the support and resistance level, or it will show a continuing strength of its upward momentum. Let's see this week. But it's still not out of the woods. The dominant range of green with respect to its closing price of 2.38, the dominant range is between 2.11 actually to 2.29. 2.38 is right here, but I would say that your dominant range is still between 2.11 to 2.29. Again, green is still not out of the woods. Okay, the true market sentiment chart of green tells us that the dominant range, no, the true market sentiment is bullish. 6 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount and a higher buying average than selling average. So again, there's a mixture of sentiments on green's performance on Monday. We have to continue monitoring this stock. Okay, now if you would like to top up, no, I don't think it's worth it. If you have had green, let's say, although I don't think some of you still have green because there were no strong buy signals since March on green. Oh, there was one in April, but from April to this day, it has just been moving sideways. So anyhow, if you entered a new position, of course you'd like to know if you would like to top up. My suggestion is don't top up yet. At least wait for the don't top up yet. Let's see this Tuesday if the Fantastic Four signals will become present. If they are, then go ahead and top up within the dominant range. If not, then just hold your position. Don't top up yet. How about those who are planning to enter a new position? Calculate your reward to risk ratio. I think this is a setup that favors you because the last candlestick is a lot closer to the support level than your resistance, meaning to say your potential risk is still very slim and you have a thicker potential reward at this time. So you can go ahead and do a test buy, but make sure you are on top of your trailing stop loss right away because again, green is not yet out of the woods. Okay, after green, we have ISM. Let me pull up the trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment chart of ISM. ISM closed on Monday at 5.61, support is at 5.56, resistance is at 7.36. ISM is at the brink of breaking below the support level. The 10 MACD is absent. The fantastic first signals are absent as well. It's the downward momentum is still very strong. RSI is approaching the classical oversold level, but I don't think 5.56 is the oversold level. It could go lower than that support level if it chooses to bounce away once it touches the classical oversold level. So foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 9 million pesos on Monday. It has been a net foreign selling day for ISM since June. Okay, so my advice: don't enter a new position yet. And if you are going to ask me what you're going to do because you have ISM, that only means you did not respect your trailing stop loss. And I'm not going to believe it if you would say that, hey sir, my percentage of risk for this trade is 50%. Who does that for short-term trading purposes? 50% risk. Wow. Now, the TVD chart tells us that the dominant range is closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. The dominant range is between 5.59 to 5.7. The true market sentiment charts of ISM tells us that it's a bearish sentiment. 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, whereas only 2 of them registered a higher buying average and selling average. There you go. I'm bearish on ISM. Next, we have HLCM. So I'm currently pulling up the TMS and TVD charts of HLCM. So this is how it performed on Monday. It closed at 14 pesos per share. Support is at 13.46. Resistance is at 15.48. The 10 SMACD combo is absent. No, I stand corrected. It's still present. HLCM is still trading above its 10-day simple moving average. MACD is still moving above the signal line. The fantastic first signals are the ones that are not present. Okay, the DMI, on the DMI histogram, okay, HLCM needs to register a green candlestick that's ideally above 14.5 for the DMI, or ideally near 15 pesos per share for the ADX to reach the 25-point level. So when that happens, HLCM will get the very strong upward momentum category. But for now, it has to register a green candlestick. HLCM has a low risk level. RSI just hit its classical overbought level last week. So I think this is the reason why the traders of HLCM are still eavesdropping with each other. Did you notice that HLCM entered the consolidation phase as early as May? Here, right here. You can see on the chart as well. And you can also see that the positive and the negative DMI has been intertwining each other. When that happens, when it's happening, it means to say that the chart is, or the stock is, in a consolidation phase, and HLCM is in that phase right now. Okay, so what's my advice? Before my advice, let's check first the true market sentiment chart and the trade and volume distribution chart. The TVD chart shows that the dominant range is closer to the intraday low than the intraday high, and that range is between 14 pesos to 14.12. The true market sentiment for HLCM is bullish. Why? 5 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount, whereas 7 of the top 10 brokers registered a higher buying average and selling average. Meaning to say, some folks liked the dips on Monday. So if you still have HLCM, if you entered a new position, if you have that long patience waiting for consolidating stocks to reverse their sentiment or direction, then you can go ahead and do a test buy, provided, of course, if HLCM is still trading above your trailing stop loss. You can go ahead and top up within the dominant range. Okay? How about you guys who are planning to enter a new position? I suggest that you wait for the fantastic first signals. Your 10 MACD is already present. You'll just have to wait for the fantastic first signals to become present again. Okay? All right. Before you top up. Okay? Next, UBP. Let me pull up first the trade and volume distribution and Okay, this is the last stock in our list. Okay, Union Bank closed on Monday at 59 pesos per share. It's already moving towards its immediate support at 57.9. Resistance is at 64. Foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 800,000 pesos. It's an insignificant amount. The 10 SMAC D combo is absent. The Fantastic Four signals, of course, are absent as well. Well, let's see. RSI is approaching the classical oversold level, and the downward momentum is still very strong. UBP has a low risk level despite this its bearish trajectory. See this. Let's see. I saw something interesting on the TMS chart of UBP. But before that, let's check the dominant range with respect to its closing price of 59 pesos per share. The dominant range is between 59 to 59.25. 59 to 59.25. If it starts at a price higher than 59.25, I suggest that you monitor it between 59.4 to 60. But for now, this is a bearish trade and volume distribution for UBP last Monday. The true market sentiment chart, this is what's interesting. How many greens do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, let's see if we got a bullish sentiment on our TMS. And it is bullish indeed. Why? 7 of the top 10 brokers registered a positive net amount. 6 of them registered a higher buying average than selling average. In other words, majority of the members of the top 10 list bought the dips. It's just that those who chose not to follow through, to stay bearish, had a bigger total turnover value than those 7 folks who decided to buy the dips. Who are these contrarians? Mandarin, BPI, Kalesa, CLSA. They got a lot bigger total turnover value than these folks, than these 5 brokers that opted to buy the dips. Their individual turnover values, their individual total turnover values, I'm referring to the last 5 in the top 5 list, top 10 list. Individually, their TTBs are not even higher than 1 million. That explains it. Why? UBP still ended up with a red candlestick. So, is it time to buy the dips? No, not yet. Not yet. Okay, not yet. You have to wait for the Fantastic Four signals. If you can't wait for the 10 Smack the combo to become validated once again. So at least wait for the Fantastic Four signals. For now, we are all better off monitoring UBP instead of hurrying, in terms of buying. Okay? Most of us are not as deep packeted as the top 10 brokers. These guys who bought the dips, they are deep packeted ones. Okay? So you've heard my technical analysis and overall sentiment for these 10 stocks. If you have follow-up questions, please ask in our private clients forum. For the Davao-based traders and investors, I'll see you in Davao on July 27. If you are subscribed for 1 year at Equilist Analytics, you can buy your ticket at 50% discount. And I highly recommend that you attend that seminar because it's a prerequisite when you subscribe to this service so that you will understand better what we are talking about here. That will be an opportune time for you to have a better understanding of our methods. Just head on to seminars and then click Davao, or simply type in www.equilist.com/Davao to buy your ticket, okay, at 50% discount. And I do hope all Davao-based traders here, subscribers, I do hope I'll see you on July 27th. That's Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Bye for now.